Good evening. There was a Bubble forum request on how to create a list of things. So specifically, how to create 2 to 100 things quickly. So if a user, for instance, is asked a question, how many employees does your company have? And depending on the number, we want to create that many scorecards or things in the database. So if we type in 10, we want to create 10 things, or 30, we want to create 30 things. How do we do that? First, we would go over to our editor, go to Settings and API, and on a paid plan, we enable the Workflow API and Backend Workflows. Next, we go to a page called Backend Workflows, which now turns up, and we click the empty box and New API Workflow. And then we can call it Create Things, for instance. You might want to specify what we're creating, but for instance, this is enough. Okay, and then we have an iteration. So we want to call this workflow as many times as the person specifies things to be created. And then in each iteration, what we want to do is create a new thing. We have a thing in our database called employee, so let's create that. And the number, for instance, we could do all employees in the database, the count of that, and add one, and that way we have a unique number for every employee. And then the text, this is just an example, it just could be the current date time. Okay, and then we have to call the workflow until we run out of iterations. So we call the same workflow, call it create things, schedule it to run now, and the iteration will just be iteration -1. So when we type in 30, it will then the next time it goes through, it will be 29, 28, 27, and we want to stop it at 1. So when we do iteration greater 1, so in that case we want it to stop. Okay, and then on the front end, we want to first have this input type number, because iteration, if we check here, is type number, so there will be an error if we have this type text. And then when we click create scorecards, we want to start the workflow which we just created. So schedule API workflow, create things, current date time, iteration is the input numbers value. And so it will just start off with 10 or 30 and then create a thing and then count down by 1 and do that until we're at just above 1, so at 2 in this case. And let's have a look at how this works, but how quickly Bubble is. First we could do 5, and it should create 5. And also notice it stops at 5, or we can do 10, so we now expect 15 to be the number. So that's why I did the count, right? Because it counts as many as there are, and then adds 1 to it. And now we are at 15, and let's do 100, and even 100 should work, of course. And we'll just let that run in the background. So just a quick recap. We told it to run itself all the time with the number given, create new things, searching all things in the database, counting that number and adding 1, and then calling itself by always subtracting 1 until we reach a number just above 1, so 2. Okay, and we're still going, but hope this video helps you. I would bet quite a lot of money that it stops at, I think we were 115. Do check out tiplessay.com for short Bubble tips and subscribe to this channel for more Bubble videos. Cheers.